Hi everyone. Okay, this is a video to address an issue around creating kicks over time or rhythmic hits that can be applied to a drum part or actually attached to any part. What I'm talking about here is biased towards people that want to be able to retain playback of a part and still show rhythmic hits that maybe are coming from another part that you want the player to know about. If all you care about is showing the notation, but you don't care if the finale plays back, that's a relatively simple problem. But when you want something to play back and show kicks over time at the same time, it gets a little bit more involved. So there's two approaches. One is to create a cue staff, and that's where you create a staff especially to show the rhythmic cues, as I've done here at the top, example like this. The advantage of that is, first of all, the cue staff can play back. If I was to remove the staff style for a minute, you'll see what's under here. So there's actually lines and there's notes and all that good stuff is there. And then by applying the staff style to that, it goes to here. And that's the staff style that I created. And I'm going to do a separate video to show how to create that staff style and get that effect. But the advantage of this system is it's more work because you have to create a whole other staff. But the advantage is that you can then attach this staff to any other instrument when you're doing parts. So you could have these rhythmic hits attached to the tenor sax part or to the guitar part or whatever. You could also have it attached to the drums, and then they would have normal drums and then this floating staff above with kicks. Okay, so that's one way to do it, and I'm going to deal with that in a separate video, how to create that and how to attach that to other staves. But the other way that's maybe a little simpler, although maybe not quite as flexible, is to do the following. Now, if you're using the drum system where you're using more than one layer, so you use layer 1 for hands and layer 2 for feet, you can't just simply hide with the staff tool. You can't hide both layers. You can only hide one layer at a time. So what you have to do is put your if you want to do a simpler kicks over time, you have to put all your drums into one layer. So this part, if it was put into one layer, just for playback purposes, would look like this. Okay, at this point, when I have all my drums in one layer, it will sound the same as the previous one. Okay, it'll sound the same, but it'll look different. So you don't care what it looks like because you're only using it for playback. Okay, now at this point, as you can see in the score, we have these anticipations happening, and we want to show those with kicks over time, but without the complication of having a whole separate stave. So what we do is we use layer 4, and I'm sure if you've seen videos like this before, you know how to do this. You go to Document Options, you choose Layers, you choose Layer 4, and you preset it like this: free stems and ties up, because you want the kicks over time all to go up. You want to adjust the floating rest by 7 steps, and you want to have it not affect playback. You don't want it to affect playback, and you do want it to affect music spacing. Then you say apply, say OK, and then you put your kicks over time in layer 4. So you have to switch to layer 4 down here. And the shortcut for that, by the way, on a Mac is Option Command and then the number. So I'm going Option Command and I'm hitting layer 4, the number 4, and it changes me to layer 4. And now I would input my note values that I want there, and here's my ride that I want to tie over. And then at that point, now I'm ready to apply the staff style, and the staff style is just simply a kicks over time staff style, which is pretty easy to learn how to do. I'll show you how it works. First of all, this is what it's going to look like. It will apply slashes to layer 1 to hide your drums, but it will show layer 4 so you can get your kicks over time, and it will still play back. Okay, so it will play back the underlying drums. It won't play back the kicks over time because usually you don't want that. If you want that, you would have to play back its better to then program the drums to do it as well. Okay, so how do we program that kicks over time if you don't have it? Is you simply go, I'll show you, I'll go to that, it is, and you create it, and you can give it a name. You say new and give it a name, whatever you want. Make sure it's copyable. And then you go to alternate notation, and you set it up to be slash notation in layer 1, still showing expressions, chords if you want. But in other layers you show notes and articulations. That's why we had to put all the notes into layer 1 so that they're covered up. The drum sounding notes are covered up, but we still want to show the note that shows the kick over time. So we say OK. Now it's all ready to go. And then there's a way you can set a shortcut for it. So for example, if I wanted to apply it here and I want the shortcut to be K, I can just do Shift K and choose whatever it is that I want to be that. It's already chosen, and say OK. And then all I can do, I can just hold down K and it will apply that. Now there's nothing, I haven't put in the kicks over time there yet, but if I simply copy this, I'll get what I want. So if I was going to want this all to be playing back, I would simply set up my measures with my drums underlined. Remember the drums are under here in layer 1. And then I would set up my kicks over time as needed, and then I would just copy and paste until I was done, or if I needed to change a rhythm I would change it in layer 4. And that would be my kicks over time while getting playback. So that's that for now, and stay tuned for the other video that will show you how to do this rhythmic cue staff and attach it to other parts.